we know it says in the Gemara, it's the Gemara Megillah, Kol Shana Halacha Tana V'Lio, Kol Shana Halachas B'Chol Yom Muftach Lo Yishu B'No Olam Haba. That anyone who reviews Jewish law daily is assured a place in the afterlife. And it's appropriate to learn the laws about what is going on right now in Yana D'Yoma as far as our liturgical calendar. So let's learn Shulchan Aruch very simply in the in the Code of Jewish Law. Dintainus Esther by Gimel Seifim. The laws of this day, which is the fast of Esther, which has three legal citations. The first one is B'Chanukah B'Purim Mutal L'Sanis L'Fnei L'Achreim. That on Hanukkah, the feast of dedication, and on Purim, the feast of lots, it is permitted to fast both before and after those days. It's only prohibited to fast on those days. A lot of people have been asking me about having exemptions from fasting today. Obviously, if someone has a health reason, obviously it goes without saying, even very minor health reasons. But nonetheless, we should understand, like Jonah did, our neighbors, and in some case adversaries, in certain manners, in certain ways. I don't like to say that because I don't consider anyone an adversary. I like to have love and peace with everyone. And these are people who are fellow monotheists who we should have the utmost respect and love for, and should not be fighting with under any circumstances. And yet they're picking fights with us, and also some heretics are picking fights with them. But nonetheless, they're fasting for a whole month. We can fast for one day, okay? And we don't want to have any negative consequences. They also have tremendous spiritual power from their fasting and prayer. Where any wars that are going on right now are first and foremost spiritual wars. So we have to understand that. So with that in mind, we fast on this day, which is the 13th of Adar, the 12th Hebrew month, and in the leap year the 13th. And if Purim falls, which is the Feast of Lots, on a Sunday, then we fast on the previous Thursday. The Ramah says, Rabbi Moses Isserles this is not an obligatory fast. It's not mentioned, like for example in the book of Zechariah in the Bible, there's a mention of several fast days, which are often called the minor fast days. This is on the lower level of how important the fast day is. So therefore, one may be more lenient in this fast than in other fast days, as is necessary. Whether it's a pregnant woman, a nursing woman, or anyone who is ill and has no danger of even if someone's eyes are hurting, a headache. If he's in a lot of pain, he should not fast, but he does. People don't realize that if you don't fast, you to fast. However, it's also an important thing of the community that we have to be united. And so if someone is healthy, the reason why we have to fast is not because there's an obligation, neither from biblical or rabbinical law, and rabbinical law that is recorded in the Bible. So we should understand that what a lot of people call quote-unquote rabbinical Judaism is biblical Judaism. As we see in the book of Zechariah, that the rabbinical fasts are mentioned in the Bible, and actually referred to in the book of Esther as well, which is also in the Bible, also the rabbinical holiday. But nonetheless, even though we don't have that obligation, but we have another obligation, which is to be part of a community, and that's the major way that we're part of a community is by fasting and praying together, particularly in times of difficulty. If Purim b'yom aleph shusan b'yom heishel fanav v'chal by bris milah mutalachol al milah lach malacha b'yom vav mesanu oichlem. So if Purim falls on a Sunday and one fasts on the previous Thursday, then and there is a circumcision feast, then the people should eat to celebrate the feast, but nonetheless then fast on Friday. So, and then the next part, Gimel Lisanim, Gimel Yomim Zeichel Tainus Esther. Some people fast 3 days to commemorate the original fast of Esther, It's not an obligation. And I would say with those other ones, you could pay off with charity or to be exempt from those, since they're not a chovas, neither an obligation nor something that is something that the tzibur does, or by making a siyum or something else. And have in mind that this is to exempt from those fast days that are non-obligatory and also non-communal. Well, let's just learn the next one quickly. Dinei chiyuv kriyas Megillah by sifim, the obligations of the reading and the recitation of the scroll of Esther, the book of Esther. We have two laws here. There's an obligation to read or to hear a reading of the book of Esther at night, and to return and to repeat in the day. The night reading is for all night. And the day could be all day. From the sunrise until the end of the day. If one, even before sunrise, read from dawn, he fulfilled his daytime obligation. Post facto, even if one has a set time for Torah study, which is the most important obligation that we have, we cancel that to hear the reading of the scroll of Esther. And all the more so, our argument for other commandments that are of the law, that all are pushed away because of the recitation and the recital and the reading of the scroll. Nothing is pushed away for the reading of the scroll, except if, like, you find someone who is dead and needs someone to bury him, and there's nobody to bury him, as much as is needed, so then we push that away, and then you read later. If you find such a case, you have to bury someone, has someone to bury him, you bury him first, and then you read the Megillah. But still, you read it. But really, the Ramah says that's only if you have the opportunity to do both. But if there's not the opportunity to do both, meaning the day's almost over, you didn't read the Megillah yet, and then you find a Meis Mitzvah, you first read the Megillah and then you do the Meis Mitzvah. That's the Ran, the Beis Yosef. The only time the Meis Mitzvah comes first is that if you're going to have time to read afterwards. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and we'll see you later. How do I turn this thing off?